Okay. Am I online? Okay. Um, I'm not a YouTube content creator, so I'm just improvising this with like what I have. So for future reference, apologies for the shitty quality. I need to talk about the Barotrauma unstable talents and the structure and how they're so wrong. Okay, so let's. I mean, I've already made a stream about this and I've talked about this, but these talents are garbage. Structure is garbage. The devs don't know what the fuck they're doing, so I'm gonna talk about how they should be. First of all, we need to figure out what are talent points even for. What are talents for? So there's games that basically center around builds, around talent trees, stuff like that, where the game itself is basically unplayable without this kind of evolution. Like consider something like Dungeons and Dragons, the tabletop role-playing game. You are way more powerful at level 5 than you are at level 1. At level 1, you are basically a speck of dust, and at level 5, you can take on minotaurs in hand-to-hand combat, that kind of thing. Barotrauma is not that kind of game. Barotrauma is a game where you can finish the entire campaign on Hellish without using a single talent point. You can argue the game isn't very hard. I would disagree with that. It's actually very complicated, but it is doable to finish the game without any talent points. You don't need the power from the talents to finish the game. So Barotrauma is not a game that centers around talents. It's not a game that centers around builds. You don't have a build for your submarine either. You don't like evolve your submarine into a Death Star or whatever. It's just not that kind of game. So what do the talents in Barotrauma do? What is their purpose? Well, there's a bunch of different things. First of all, replayability, of course. Like, let's say you like the captain class, and then you get the choice whether you want to be like the guy who goes into all the things, which you probably shouldn't do, or the guy who focuses on just helming at the helm, or the guy who just focuses on leadership. If you like a particular class, you can replay it more than once, and it's actually different because you're focusing on a different aspect of that class. Replayability. So that's like the one point. Let's actually thing going on here. Bam. So and the second part is why you would want talents is just change the game. You change the game over time. That is like a thing that Dungeons and Dragons does. At first, you fight like penniless bandits with a club, and then you fight minotaurs, and then you fight I don't know what dragons, probably. So you have like an alteration of a rather repetitive otherwise game. So, but both of these, they rely on one thing. Talents actually do something. This is important. If your talents don't do anything, if your talents are just piss weak shit, then there's no point in them. If your talents don't change the game, then there's no points to having talents. Then you, as a dev, should not waste your time with talents. you should not waste the player's time. The player is gonna, like let's say all the talents are completely worthless. Then the player is gonna look at these talents and spend a considerable amount of time studying them, like I do right now, and then just conclude, yeah, this is all bullshit. This is like, yeah, we had the publisher had like a checkbox thing, and talent trees was on the checkbox, and then we put that in, but it's really not a game that should have talent trees, so we just phoned it in and made shitty talents that just waste your time if you engage with that system of talents at all. And at the same time, you also have the devs' time wasted, because now you have to do all these little artworky things here and write all these things. Yes, this is a whole lot of wasted time if you don't have talents that do anything. So the next part I hate is the structure of the talent trees. We have like a 2-tier. I can demonstrate how it works if you are not aware. 14,000, 18,000. So what happens here is first only these are unlocked. That's how you take this garbage, and then they get locked off, and now you get the second tier. And you have to take 2 talents of these, and then the specializations get unlocked. And then you can take something here. Bam, and now the game is over. So what's the problem with that? First of all, why these 2 tiers? What's the matter? What is the purpose of that? Like, you might not. Let's say the first tier is powerful, and you don't want people to combine too many of the first tier, or do the first tiers or the second tiers do something completely different? Like the first one is like general ship improvements, and the second one is only personal improvements, and so that way you limit like what kind of improvements you can get, and you can't just get an overpowered personal talent tree or an overpowered ship talent tree. No, it's not. It's nothing like that. Well, we don't have bonus. We have both bonus XP, bonus money, things for cargo, and monster missions in the first tree. I guess that counts. Okay, this is no, this is a altruistic tree, except for this one. Semi-altruistic, and then we have the personal things. No, this is also altruistic. This is shit. This is altruistic. Yeah, so why the 2 tiers? That is dumb. Just make it 1 tier, and then you have to pick 4 of them, for example. It's even dumber than that. Like, are they supposed to be a different power level? Are you supposed to unlock more powerful talents? Like, as in these are the weak talents and they don't matter, and then we have the stronger talents that do matter. But now you have a problem. You have to take all of these skills and make sure the ones in the first row are weaker than the ones in the second row. Or I mean, you could even make it so that the ones in the first row are stronger and whatnot. But then you have to have a whole bunch of tiered talents that are differing in strength intentionally. You don't want that. That is just making shit hard for yourself. The next problem I'm seeing here is these specializations. Like, you have gunslinger, skipper, and whatnot. So yeah, gunslinger specializes you into a guy who has a pistol, except this does not have anything to do with pistol. This does not have anything to do with pistol. Being drunk on the job is usually not that great. Wasting resources on a weak buff, not great. Well, it's not a weak buff, but it's not worth wasting resources on. And then we have the revolver hand cannon. And the problem with hand cannons is 2 revolvers are basically equally as good. The only advantage the hand cannon has is that it only uses 1 item slot, while 2 revolvers use 2 item slots. And The UI doesn't really do double items all that well, because if you're holding like a screwdriver and then you pick your two guns, then you're still holding a screwdriver even though you picked both guns. It just switches which gun that you're wearing. So this is a UI problem that is solved by the hand cannon, but otherwise it's actually not really more impressive than double revolvers. Double revolvers are actually very good, especially if you have the other things. But here's the thing. Should the captain have like bonuses to pistols as a specialization tree? Pistols, revolvers. Should the captain have hand cannons? What is the point of a captain? What does the captain need? Captain needs to be good at helming, but of course, okay. Let's say you want to play as a like action captain who goes into the enemy ships and so forth. Is a revolver bonus what you need? Like what I would like to see is a talent tree specialization that actually makes the captain tougher. Because I play a lot of public, open, unprotected campaigns where you constantly have trolls coming in. The number one person that trolls like to assassinate is the captain. And when I'm the captain, I get attacked a lot by trolls. So why is there not a specialization tree for that? For like multiplayer, open campaign things where you just become the toughest most unkillable son of a bitch that exists. Here, Skipper. What is Skipper focusing on? Okay, it gives everyone bonus. It increases your helm skill. Gives everyone a bonus. Gives everyone a bonus. So this is to give everyone bonuses. This is like the Bard tree. In Dungeons and Dragons, you have the Bard, D6 22, and everybody gets stronger. I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, but that isn't what a skipper does. Like a skipper is on the helm, right? A skipper drives the ship, so why is there not a ship getting better tree? What are they specializing on? What else we got? Okay. The captain isn't even the worst offender. Let's look at, for example, engineer. What you're focusing on weapons engineering. Okay. You make weapons. Make the depleted fuel mechanics, which are still terrible and need to be fixed. And then you make hardened tools or hardened bullets. Then you have better weapons fabrication. And then you have the rapid fissile accelerator. Alright. You are fabricating weapons for the crew. Pretty good. Is that all it should be though? Is that, I mean, you're creating basically two weapons. One is like depleted fuel things and the other is rapid fissile accelerators. If you're the weapons engineer, shouldn't you also have the option to like make ship weapons better without using additional resources? Electrician, okay. Or actually, battery cells. What do battery cells have to do? I mean, okay, we have to understand these specializations are focusing on a particular aspect of gameplay of a class. So you can craft things for the crew, makes sense, or you can run around and fix junction boxes basically, and that is that. And then you have better battery cells. This makes sense because at least when engineers had the best fireproof suit, it was up to the engineers to fight ballast flora, ideally. This is the repairy thing. Electrical devices you've repaired. Yeah, that. Again, these towns are just weak. This doesn't even help you. If you want to increase your electrical engineering, you want them to deteriorate faster so you can actually repair them more often. If that's your jam. You're literally forced by the game to stunt your own electrical engineering progression if you take this tree. And I've already looked at the arc emitter. Shouldn't the arc emitter be in the weapons engineer, the tree that is all about crafting weapons? I mean, this has nothing to do with being a junction box monkey. This does not belong in here. This is the. I hate this tree so much. Yeah, you're LARPing as Dr. Freeman. Great. And here again, we have like something that is altruistically improving the ship. But what does that have to do with LARPing as Dr. Freeman? This is, I mean, pretty disappointing for a specialized thing because, okay, you know, you're LARPing as Freeman, but you don't get the laser. So, oh yeah, you should the pucks be part of the weapons engineer? I mean, I would say pucks should probably be up here, and we can just get something else. We can, like, electrician conceptually makes sense, weapons engineer conceptually makes sense, and then you can just have a straight up I'm Gordon Freeman tree. But Gordon Freeman, what does Gordon Freeman have to do with increasing your reactor's output or fuel efficiency? I guess is he a nuclear? I thought he was like theoretical physics or applied physics or some shit. Okay, you can LARP as Gordon Freeman. And people take this tree because everybody lost himself pucks, because the puck solves another problem I'm gonna get to later. And okay, hold on. Medic here. I mean, what do we have here? What are you specializing on? Okay, the syringe gun fighting, which is an absolutely dumb idea, because syringe guns just aren't very good. We had the Sinologist who got like combat bonuses with alien pistols. That was at least something. With the problem being that you were supposed to go into ruins, wearing or double wielding alien pistols, right? Alien pistols do burn damage. Guardians, the primary antagonist in a ruin, are virtually immune to burn damage. So that's a problem there. But now we don't even have that. There's no bonuses to alien pistols anywhere. Okay, this is like the gene things. Everything is something with genes. No, this is not. This is, and this is. Everything is something to do with genes. Everything in the medic tree has something to do with like medicing, like first aid, that kind of thing. Interesting talent. And the chemist has to do with crafting shit. But what you're crafting is pretty terrible. I mean, you have to choose between. Wait, crafting shit. If you specialize in crafting shit, where is the talent that lets me craft more morphine or gives me a recipe for like 2 morphine instead of 1 morphine from the same resources? I'm not actually getting better at crafting, I'm just unlocking a bunch of crafting recipes that may or may not be completely terrible. This here is actually a real crafting bonus. Construct medical items 100% faster. You can get grenades or combat stims. I mean, combat stims used to be in the medic tree together with the auto-injector headset, and so you could basically be a medic by crafting. I find it problematic to have all of these crafty, to have a tree just be crafting recipes, and that's a specialization. You can never really specialize in crafting special things, right? I mean, if you're a weapons engineer as an engineer, yeah, you craft some extra weapons, but shouldn't you also do like other things, like get turret bonuses, something like that. You actually did in the older version. Got laser bonuses. Okay, so the third problem I see with the whole structure is, well, we can look at it here. Here we are maxed out. We can get more XP. I can do that. Bam. And now we have three more talent points, but we cannot invest them anywhere. The talent tree is just done. Why? Does it break the game if I get like 3 more talents? I totally agree with just picking one specialization. Because there has to be some kind of way by which you can rule out that certain talents cannot be taken together because they would be too powerful. As an example, say you get like 50% damage reduction from one talent tree, and then you get 50% damage reduction from the other talent tree. If you get both of them for, well, it would be 75%, but let's say it would be 100% in this case, then you've broken the game. You're now invincible. And there needs to be a way by which you can rule that out, and specializations are that. So the question is, how do you balance this whole thing? So I've put quite a bit of thought into this now, and I have a plan. Like here, delete this. Okay, so like currently we have this first tier, second tier, and then we have the specializations. Tier 1, tier 2. Like this is the current system that we have. And then we need 2 of here, 2 of here, and then 4 here for 8 total. This is the current system that we have in Unstable, and it makes no sense. So I am proposing that to make things easier, or for ourselves, we start with a bunch of baseline talents, and we do it like and we do it like by first creating a bunch of general talents. The general talents are talents that everyone wants these. Everyone can make use of these. If you get this talent for free, you say yes. If I don't know, if you have a station event and somebody injects you with a genetic materials or something, or an endocrine booster, and you get this talent, you are happy because this talent is going to be useful to you, regardless of how you play, almost regardless of how you play, and regardless of what class you play. It's going to be useful. That is the point of general talents. And I have a bunch of these already prepared and thought about. Below that, we have the general talents here. Below that, we have the class talents. And these are basically the tier 1 and tier 2 talents that we have right now. And they are more powerful. These have to be stronger. The class talents have to be stronger than the general talents, but they trade their power with specialization, with being less applicable. They are not as useful in almost every situation, to almost every playstyle, to everyone who plays. The class talents are then things like, okay, the engineer gets a 100% bonus to beacon stations. something like that. You cannot put that in a general talent. Well, I guess you could, but the point is, not everyone is really supposed to do beacon stations. The person who is supposed to do beacon stations is the engineer, because he has to go in, wire, manage a reactor, all that kind of thing. And they have to be more powerful, but less general. So between talents, you always need a trade-off between applicability, between specialization, and power. The more specialized a talent is, the more powerful it has to be. The more general it is, the more weak it has to be, less influential. But again, we have the original problem that talents should be good. And if they're not good, talents should be something you want. Talents should change the game. So even the general talents need to be quite powerful already. And the class talents then need to be more powerful. And then finally, we have the specializations here. And they're running out of talents. We can keep these more or less in the structure that we have already. The point of the specializations is they need to be really specialized to one particular task. Like, yes, you can have a crafting tree, then actually make that tree a specialized crafting tree. You can craft everything faster. You can craft new items faster. Something like that. But should everyone have a crafting tree? I mean, almost everyone gets like an item or three that they can craft that is really powerful as a kind of reward. As something to like change up the later game. Is that a good idea? I'm not convinced. And you also don't need interesting items in every single tree. I mean, if you need an item to do your job well, why not just get a talent that lets you do the job well? Let's make an example. Here we have this real quick. Go to security. Security has the frogman specialization, okay? And it has boarding axe, slip suit, harpoon curl rifle. Does that actually make you better at combat diving? I mean, sure, these items are better, but the talent does not make you better. You still have to craft these things. So you get this here, makes you better with harpoons, and I'm assuming it also applies to the harpoon coil gun rifle. Yeah, what if, for example, everything in the frogman tree just gives you a crazy bonus while you're in the water? Just like that, crazy bonus while in the water. Not thermal goggles. Thermal goggles have nothing to do with being in the water. They might help you in the water, but here we have those two, and these are not crazy bonuses. I mean, 25% swimming speed is nice, 20% less damage is nice, but this is not like, oh my god, you absolutely want this if you ever go into the water. Because most people won't. Like, most people don't do just frogmanning. If you're a security on a ship, you will do the following three things: murder traders, because I play on public games, so you constantly have to do them. Murder other critters that somehow make it onto your boat, and that's basically the enforcer tree, right? And then what you also gonna do is you're gonna gun the guns all the fucking time, because the guns are actually the ship guns are actually the most important way by which you murder things. They are much more economical than handheld weapons. You like one lead turned into coil gun ammo is gonna last you a lot more dead critters than one lead turned into literally 6 shotgun shells. And then we have the gunner tree here. This is a good example of something that doesn't know what it's actually specializing in, because it should be the turret gun. And there's like only one turret here, turret related talent here. So what are you specializing in? Are you specializing in automatic machine guns? Because that's not a specialization. Automatic machine guns aren't helpful. No, that's wrong. They are good. Assault rifles are fine. They are a fine weapon. But they're not a specialization. They're not an activity you do. They're just how you do that activity. So either stuff like HMGs and rifles should be just general talents, and then replace the gunnery tree with actual gunner talents that also work. And looking at you, Tandem Fire, stupid bullshit. And then have the actual Terminator tree. It's called Enforcer, but you're just supposed to be a unkillable badass that can take down anyone. So, yeah, specialized things. Are you an unkillable badass with Enforcer? Get the auto shotgun, yes, you get buttloads of physical damage. Okay, not even that much. I mean, 40% probably was too much in the current version. Bleeding damage, recover from bleeding. Yeah, this is just piss weak. And this is implacable. This is the key. Actually, no, it's Stonewall. Stonewall is the key how you're so unkillable, and implacable is like that on top. You are an unkillable badass that can take down anyone. That helps you with traders, and that helps you with monsters that come on. And the problem here is it also helps you being a frogman, because if you're in the water, you're gonna get eaten by fucking mud raptors. If you do not have an auto shotgun with you. Are you gonna fight a fucking horde of mud raptors with a boarding axe and the harpoon? No, you're gonna do it with the auto shotgun, because the auto shotgun is wasteful of resources, but way better as a weapon. So yeah, this tree, the frogman tree, even if you want to focus and specialize on being a combat diver, you're gonna take the Enforcer, because the Enforcer makes you tougher and better armed. The only thing that Frogman does that's kind of notable is that you have a chance of finding additional items. But okay, being an unkillable badass through the Enforcer tree versus and going on combat diving missions versus finding 25% additional items while going on combat diving missions. Which are you gonna choose? What I'm saying is, Frogman should be way more specialized for being an unkillable badass in the water. And Enforcer is actually fine, because we just need a tree like that. Just general, yep, I'm an unkillable badass. And Gunner is actually garbage. Actual garbage. Neck yourself, this is terrible. It doesn't do its job that it's supposed to do. Okay, tangenting. But, okay. Back to the thing. So, we have three types of talents. These are not really tiers. They're just general talent that everyone has. And when you build a class talent, then you can look at the general talent if you already have something like that, and then you can base that other talent off the first one. The general talents just make a baseline of what are good talents, what are powerful talents that are worth taking without breaking the game. And we can tell that because we already have had all of the general talents in some form or another. Another way to figure out if everybody is taking Enforcer back here. If everybody is taking the Enforcer tree, and everybody should be taking the Enforcer tree because it's the only worthwhile tree, then either Enforcer is too strong, or Frogman and Gunner are too weak. Both of these are true. Gunner doesn't do what it's meant to do, and Frogman is just worse at doing what it's meant to do than Enforcer is. Should you nerf Enforcer? No, Frogman does fucking nothing for you. Oh god, yeah, 50% more. Harpoons suck. And the Harpoon coil rifle has a lower DPS than regular harpoons because you need to charge it for such a long time. So yeah, I don't mind the concept of a Harpoon coil rifle, but this year, this should just be a general talent, and then you can start Frogman with something like Stonewall. While you're in the water, you get 40% of this stuff. Bam! But only while in the water. And then you have Frogman as an actual alternative to Enforcer for being in the water, because you can get the boarding axe, but you don't need a boarding axe for that kind of thing. You can get Slayer or additional items, although I don't like having to choose between one of those. But I mean, they both conserve ship resources or gain resource gain. They're both resource gain talents in the sense that harpoons make you waste less harpoons and less ship resources because harpoons are reusable, and Scavenger just finds you more ship resources. So these are very similar talents. This is just weak. Just where's the ability to not wear a suit while in the water? Do you just have where's the ability to have like I don't know, craft military jeans, and then you check them and you're now basically a husk but without the downsides. I mean, husk jeans are pretty powerful, OP perhaps, and they come at a hefty cost of not being able to talk. So why not just have a military jean thing that does similar, maybe weaker things than the husk jean does, but without the downside as a talent? That would be an interesting thing to craft. Obviously, it should not be in Frogman. Or maybe it should be. Or maybe it should only apply to you and not be a craftable jean. Who the fuck knows? Okay. So I wanted to... I made a list of worthwhile talents. And I'm gonna set up shortcuts. Shit. No. Is it? Is this so huge? God damn it. Why is it this? Terrible. Everything is freezing. Oh, god damn it! Hey! Why? No! For fuck's sake, just let me move this garbage here. Oh god. This is terrible. This is absolutely garbage. Clip Studio, why are you shit? This... Does it work now? And it doesn't do any stuff. Why are you freezing? Okay. Why is it so slow? I'll go here. Closer. not draw? Why does it not draw? Don't understand why. Oh. Stop, Clip Studio. Why are you shit? Oh, okay. There we go. So here we have like talents, general talents that I propose as like a baseline to base the other talents off. Genius. 100% more skill gains, lose only 25% instead of 75% skills and death. Yeah, we have a bunch of 100% more skill gains talents actually in unstable right now, and it's still a pretty weak talent. The real trick about this talent is that you now lose only 25 instead of 75% of skills on death. And why is that important? Because what if you're a skills guy, and Barotrauma is a pretty deadly game? This makes skills risky to invest any time in, because you will just die and then you have lost almost all of your skills. Normally it's 75%, I believe, but here we have a talent that makes it 25%. So if you want to be a skills guy, if the point of your character is to have 100 helm or 100 weapons or whatever, this is how you get that. Even if you don't have to play like an absolute fucking pussy, because even if you die, you will have most of your skills and be able to get them back quickly. Because right now, currently in the game, it's pointless being a skills guy. It's very hard to actually get skills, especially because you can't just do fabricator looping to crank up your skills. But yeah, so it's hard to get your skills and you lose them easily, so investing in skills is pretty pointless. If that. Skilled permanent plus 20 to all skills. What should that give you? Well, it makes you better at pretty much anything. It makes you better at hole rip. It makes you better at every job in the game that involves skills. There's very few jobs that don't. And this is just meant to be a baseline. Like if you want, we could also say it should be plus 15 to all skills, but I'd like to err on the side of it actually matters that you have that talent versus not. Next part. Eager to learn, plus 35% XP from all sources. I did math. If you want a talent that gives you more XP, and nothing else, especially, then you need to be really careful that you get the right amount. And eager to learn, plus 35, it sounds like a huge number, but it really is not, because you are losing a talent point for that. What you get for 35% is that when everybody else reaches level 7, you have now reached level 8, and just at that point. Because until that point, you were behind one level, because you had a useless talent that does nothing else except give you more levels. And only at level, when everybody else reaches level 12, you now are gaining an additional point, and that you've actually gained more talent points than everyone else. But that matters at level 8, 7 on 8, and level 12 to 14. So that is still only barely worth taking. It sounds very boring, but if you really want to rush for that specialization capstone, that's the way to do it. Contract renegotiations. 25% of mission money to be deposited directly into your wallet. This has two purposes. First of all, it gives you a baseline of how much give more money talent should give you. 25%. Like your typical mission early in the game is like $2,000, so that's 500. And in the late game, it's a typical mission gives you like $5,000, so that would give you a bit over 1,000. But usually you also get like 2 or 3 missions at the same time, so this can be a substantial amount of money. The other thing that this talent solves, the other problem in the game right now, is that, well, what if the captain forgets to set wages? What if the captain doesn't set wages? What if the captain wants to set wages, but they keep getting reset because the UI is shit and there's no captainly setting that can just give everyone automatically such and such percentage amount? Right now, it's mostly a UI problem that should probably get fixed separately. But this is a thing that's needed. Give everyone a baseline, a way to make money, and substantial amounts of money, so they can donate it to the ship if they want to speed up upgrades and whatnot. And if you have a talent that gives you, I don't know, $100 per mission, then you know that shit is garbage. You need a better talent. Maintenance crew, 25% hull repair, device repair speed, and while inside the submarine, you're immune to water pressure. So, first of all, we need a general repair things faster talent. That is actually better than just the skilled plus 20% to all skills thing, because plus 20 to all skills. If you're a captain and you start like with like 15 mechanics and you get plus 20 mechanics, you're actually faster at repairing things than with this maintenance crew talent. The difference between maintenance crew and the skilled one is that if you have like 100, this might get you more. But the more interesting and controversial thing is, while inside the submarine, you're immune to water pressure. So I've heard a lot of criticism of this. The one is, the game's name is Barotrauma. It should be the most dangerous thing. Well, the problem with that is, what players do is they just litter the whole sub with hard suits. And the other solution that players do as they progress through the game is eventually just everyone wears pucks. And I hate both of these solutions. Those are player solutions, but that is just players coping with badly designed game things, or with like otherwise intolerable things. What you need is this. It's really just this. You need immunity to water pressure while inside the submarine. And you need to give this away handily and easily, so we do not need to litter the whole ship with puck suits and whatnot. Like, have you looked? You have all of this artwork with people and faces, and the clothes and all of that artwork. But in the mid game, it doesn't matter anymore, because from the mid game on, everybody is wearing pucks. For a variety of reasons, the pucks it solves many problems at once that do not have other solutions. So yeah, I don't like the pucks, and I especially hate everyone wearing the pucks, and I hate everywhere being littered with hard suits. I'm building submarines. I'm forced to put hard suit holders everywhere just to make it a little bit more neat. So yeah, you need to give people immunity to water pressure somehow, and actually be quite generous with it. Because the alternative is, people do not use dive masks because dive masks do not protect you from pressure. Simple as. So, athleticism, 20 health, 10% run swim speed, 25 melee damage, minus 50%. Yeah, this is just like a general, you are now better at fighty things. There's no talent that increases your shotgun ammo, but those should really be kind of hard to get. Shotgun damage, I mean. But melee damage, most classes have something that give you additional melee damage. not even most, but many classes have something that increases melee damage. So it's not really controversial. And yeah, 20 health isn't turning you into an unkillable badass. None of this is. This is not a powerful talent. This is just if your class just happens not to have any combat talents, or not enough, that is a talent that's worth taking still. It makes you slightly better, doesn't break the game, anything. Gunnery training. This is like, why are the ship turns so overlooked? Why are they so overlooked? There's barely no perks and talents and whatnot that actually help with them, especially not with a damage increase. And the higher tier enemies are so incredibly bullet spongy. It's just not fun anymore. The way to offset that is with a lot of ways to get bonus damage. And you can do that through ship upgrades, but also through talents. So here you need a baseline talent for ship damage with ship turns. The original version of this talent, instead of this turning speed here, had a plus 20 weapons, but then I felt it was too much encroaching on the territory of skilled. And the final general talent that I suggest is like, yep, you get a plasticine morphine blood pack. I mean, the old assistant had a talent like that. It gave you actually a bandage instead of a plasticine, but I figured it's better this way. It doesn't actually matter. It's more of a monetary difference, because this year is going to be like $400. And this year, where do I have it? Contract renegotiation can be up to $2,000 if you like really win in the late game mission. So $400 for items in your hand versus 500 that are tied to actually making that money. I find this fair. Because items are more useful immediately than items that you want then are more useful than money. Money is only useful at stations. Unless you have like unless you have this. That is a vending machine on your sub. Yes, you can do that. You can buy things like opium if you want. I mean, we all need ourselves some opium, right? So all right. So to sum it up, we have general talents. And we have class talent. Should probably be something like that. Class talents, and then we have specializations. We can have more than 3 specializations if we can think of good ones. And these trade general power. The specializations. Okay. Yes. And the specializations should be more powerful, but only very tightly applicable to specific activities. So, and crafting. I don't know if a specific ability or a specific activity should be crafting. So I would like to see more craftings. What is going on? Oh, stabilization on. Is that what's happening? Okay. So this is how you balance this. So you can always, if you're designing a new talent, you have like here. You can always look at the general talents and are like, wait, is this actually better than the general talent, because it should be better and more specialized, more specific to the class. And you also, the other thing that it solves is basically talent spam to have general talents. You don't need to do the same talent over and over. You don't need 3 different classes that have plus 100% skill gain, for example. And I'm pretty sure I've seen this here in the game. We actually look real quick. Yeah, skill gain. No. I mean, this is a good one for like XP. Skill gain. No, we don't have skill gain. Okay. Yeah, apparently somebody thought security doesn't need skill gain. %25% skill gain, but for everyone. I mean, if you have 4 people on the crew, that's basically the same strength. You can just have 4. Yeah, just get 10 captains, have 250% skill gain speed. Yeah, here we go. Engineer has 100% skill gain speed. Mechanic also have 100% skill gain speed. Yeah, the problem why this is a bad thing, even if you want to go for skills, is it doesn't solve the actual problem that you have. That is, you just die once and now you're out of skills, and all your progress, all that you worked for is now gone. You need to solve that.